pleasure. Please join me in welcoming my dearest friend Janvi Shaily, who is a cloud engineer at Intuitive.cloud. She is also an AWS community builder. Apart from that, she is actively engaged in various open source programs like Google Summer of Code and LFX.
Thank you, Shaily, for doing the honor. Yeah, please join me to welcome my dearest friend, Miss Janvi Shaily, who is also a cloud engineer at Intuitive.cloud, and she is an AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate, as well as she deals with large-scale enterprise Google Cloud projects in day-to-day basis.
Thanks, Janvi. Today, let's deep dive into the world of chatbot and DLP. Introducing today's topic, protecting your chatbot from data breaches. How to use DLP API to mask sensitive data.
Before unfolding this journey, we would like to introduce our company, Intuitive.cloud.
We are an engineering company delivering cloud excellence.
Yeah, so let me bring in my day-to-day friend chatbot, and it must be yours as well, right? So it's an extremely intelligent friend chatbot who helps millions of customers of ICICI Bank on day-to-day basis. But we are not definitely promoting the bank here. So, hey chatbot, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you? Is there anything I can assist you with?
I'm good too. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I want to update my mobile number.
Please enter your current and new mobile number.
Sure, doing it. Done.
Thanks for providing the details. Your mobile number is updated.
Done with my task, finally.
Guys, this user is not at all worried about data breaches, but you might be unsure of entering such personally identifiable information while dealing with chatbots. Do not worry, we have got you covered. Let's discuss more on chatbots and DLP.
Yeah, so first let's discuss the challenges with chatbot data protection.
The first one is sensitive data handling. Chatbots often deal with various sensitive information like personally identifiable information, health details, and so on. But the major concern is that what if the data gets leaked? It can lead to privacy breaches.
Yeah, the next challenge over here is misuse of data by developers. The developers who has access to your chatbot data may use it unintentionally or intentionally for various purposes, right? And there are high chances that this data may get leaked. And in such cases, the user trust will get lost from the company, right?
The next one is regulatory compliance. Different regions follow different regulations like GDPR and HIPAA. We must ensure that the compliance met with regulation. In case if not, there will be legal actions.
Yeah, and the next challenge over here is security vulnerabilities. So the chatbot that you are using on daily basis may be susceptible to various security challenges as well as injection attacks. So in such cases, the concern over here is if the data or such kind of exploitation happens, your data may get into wrong hand and there are chances that user integrity will be at risk.
The next one is user authentication. Weak authentication mechanisms can lead unauthorized access to your data and hence result into privacy breaches.
The next challenge over here is business transaction monitoring. So you are saying that various chatbots are now included in business transactions as well, right? And in such cases, monitoring is utmost necessary. But while doing the monitoring, there are chances that if the data gets leaked, you will suffer from financial losses as well.
Guys, you might be scared seeing so many challenges, but why to fear when we are here with the solution?
Introducing DLP API.
Let's discuss what is DLP API. DLP is basically an acronym for data loss prevention. It is basically one of the GCP's own native service, an API based on advanced data security technology. With the help of DLP, you can identify your sensitive data as well as de-identify your sensitive data, and it helps protect from privacy breaches in a timely manner. It also excels in various security endpoints, network traffic, and
API. Now let's explore the capabilities of it. So here comes the first capability, and that is discover. When you are having lots of data, you must be knowing source of your data, right? So first is it's utmost necessary to identify where is your data. And when you know where your data is, you must be knowing whether it's inside GCP ecosystem or outside, whether it's on-premise or on cloud. In such cases, if it's on cloud, you will be able to use DLP. But what if it's on-premise? In such cases, we have the capability from DLP API itself. It will help you to discover your data. Here comes the next capability, and that is classify. So once you know source of your data, it's now time to classify it. Not every information is personal. Not every information is sensitive, right? So in such cases, it's necessary to classify your data, whether it's a phone number, it's just your name, or it's an email address, or your birth date. Some information may be sensitive, some might not be. So the DLP API will help you to classify your data. And here comes the next capability, and that is protect. Now you know source of your data. Now you have discovered your data completely. Then you classified whether it's sensitive or not. But what after classifying? What was their main purpose? So here the purpose is to protect it, right? So for the protection purpose, we have to deal with DLP API. And this DLP API capability will help you to protect your data using various techniques that are inbuilt in DLP API. So here we understood how we can discover our data, how we can classify it, and how we can further process it and protect your data.
Guys, as we have discussed what DLP is, what are its capabilities, now let's move on to learn how DLP works.
Okay. Yeah. So as you know what is DLP and how it works, now it's time for identifying your sensitive information. For such purpose, as we already discussed, it's necessary to know your source of data. Here we have taken an example where we have taken BigQuery and cloud storage as source of your data. So we can say that the data is in GCP ecosystem itself. Now when you know source of your data, here comes the next part. So the next part is to use cloud DLP. But why? So you know source of your data, but now it's time to identify what kind of information it is. For that purpose, we will be using cloud DLP, and here there are 3 steps that you need to follow for cloud DLP. So first, here the mention is create an inspection template. But what is an inspection template? First, let's discuss what is template. So a template will help you to whether identify or de-identify your data. And there are 2 types of templates available in GCP, and that is inspection template and de-identification template. With the help of inspection template, you will be able to inspect your data and identify what kind of data it is. And with the help of de-identification, you will be able to de-identify such kind of information. So, as we have created the template, but here DLP itself helps us to do our task. It provides 150 plus info types such as mobile number, password, email. So it will automatically detect what kind of data it is. Then after creating such template, we will be able to set up a job trigger. With the help of this job trigger, you will be able to scan through your data source. You will be able to scan your BigQuery table or your cloud storage, and with help of that scanning, you will be able to identify what kind of data it is. Once you do the job trigger, it will scan entire data set, and after that, it will identify just such information. But now what's next? So here we have some purpose for identification as well, right? So here we need to choose an action. But what kind of action it is? So here comes the next. The next is save the findings or publish the findings. So if you want to save your findings, you can use BigQuery table as a destination. And if you want to publish your findings, there are two options available. The first one is PubSub and the second one is Security Command Center. So using the PubSub topic, you will be able to send your findings to subscribed topics. And with the help of Security Command Center, you will be able to publish your findings and show some kind of reports. So here we got to know how we will identify our source of data, how we will scan it, and how we will publish the findings to a destination.
As we have already discussed the theoretical concept of how to identify your sensitive data using DLP API, now let's start with the live demonstration of it. Here we have landed onto the GCP console. Here we'll be exploring three services of GCP. The first one is cloud storage, second is DLP, and the third one is BigQuery. Now, as you can see over here, there is a sample test.txt file which contains two sensitive data, that is email address and phone number. Now, our main concern is to redact the sensitive data, that is email and phone number. So here we'll be creating a bucket and we'll be uploading the file. So the name of the bucket should be unique with a demonstration of it. Here we have landed onto GCP console. We'll be discussing three services of GCP today. The first one is cloud storage, second one is DLP, and the third one is BigQuery. As you can see over here, there is a sample test.txt file where we have two sensitive data. One is email address and the second one is phone number. So our main task today will be to redact the sensitive data. So moving on to cloud storage bucket. Here we'll be creating a bucket where we'll be uploading that sample test.txt file. The name of the bucket should be unique. Selecting the region as US Central 1. Keeping the rest settings as default. And here we are ready with creating the bucket. Now we'll be uploading that sample test.txt file in it. The file is uploaded. Now the next task is to copy the gsutil URL as it will be used for the future use cases. Moving on to next. Now we'll be exploring the DLP API in depth. So here we'll be creating an inspection template in DLP. There are two options available in DLP. One is to create an inspection template and second one is to create a de-identification template. So first we'll be creating an inspection template. Give the name of template ID, display name, select the region. Here we'll be providing the info types. There are total 150 plus info types available, wherein we'll be providing two info types. One is email address and the second one is phone number. This is basically used to classify your sensitive data. Once done selecting the info types, the next is to decide the confidentiality threshold. As of now, we are keeping it possible, and hence our DLP template for inspection is created. Now, moving on to next, we'll be using BigQuery to create a dataset and table. The reason why we are creating BigQuery table is that whatever the findings that we have got, we'll be publishing it to BigQuery. So now moving on to BigQuery, Here in this specific project, I'll be creating a data set in a specific region called as US Central 1. Once this data set is created, now we'll be creating a table inside that data set. Here your main findings will be published. Now the next thing again will be back onto DLP API. Here now we'll be creating a job trigger. We have used cloud storage bucket, DLP and BigQuery. Now the next task is to scan the sensitive data from that cloud storage bucket itself. Hence we'll be creating a job trigger for the same. So here we'll be specifying the job ID, select the location, selecting it as US Central 1. Now the storage bucket, the one that where we uploaded our sample test.txt file, will be using that storage bucket. Keeping the sampling rate to 100%. As the file type was text, selecting the text type for the same. Here there are additional info types available. Let's say you already specified 2 info types, that is email address and phone number already in the inspection template. Then why do we again have over here? In case if you want to exclude some info types or if you want to include some info types, then for that reason we do have a feature over here. So we can edit inclusion various info types. The next is we'll keep the confidentiality threshold as it is. Moving on to next, we'll be publishing our findings to BigQuery table, the table that we already created. Yeah. So once done, we'll keep the rest option as it is, and our job gets created now. Here it will show the list of findings. Basically you can see over here there are 2 lists of findings that we have got. That was the email address and phone number in that sheet. Let's see the results in BigQuery. Yes. So now with the help of DLP API, we have identified our sensitive data, that was email address and phone number into that text file. Now, as we have already discussed, how to identify your sensitive data using DLP. Now it's time to remove that sensitive data. So for that, we'll be discussing various de-identification techniques.
Here, the first technique is redaction. So as the name itself suggests, we will be redacting our data. So here, as an example, we have provided an input mobile number, and as an output, we are getting nothing. So entire mobile number has been completely redacted.
The next one is masking. As the name itself suggests, it will mask your data with some special character. So as you can see over here, we have provided a mobile number as an input and we are getting the output as a masked number.
Here comes the next technique, and that is data sifting. So here, as an example, we have provided input and output, input, start and end dates. So in the start and end dates, you can see that there is 3 days gap. And if you can see the output, in that output we have also got 3 days gap.
Again moving on to GCP console, we'll be moving on to DLP section. In the data loss prevention section, we'll be moving on to configuration tab, wherein we'll be creating a de-identification template as we previously create an inspection template. So selecting over here a de-identification technique. Second, the data transformation types will be info types. Here we need to provide the template ID, the display name, and so on. The next is we'll be selecting a location, that is US Central 1 again. Now, as we already discussed various de-identification techniques, but now here we'll be covering one, that is masking with character. So, as you can see, there are various available options. We'll be selecting the one that is masked with character. We'll be masking it with hash. None of the characters we are going to ignore. We'll mask all of the characters. There are options available. If you want to mask few characters, then also it's possible. And hence your de-identification template will get created. Now let's test it. Here I need to provide my inspection template. The reason behind providing is, as we already discussed, that there we were using two things, that is email address and phone number. So here we need to specify which info types we are basically using. That's the reason that I have provided the inspection template over here. Here I am giving an input sample as shaily@gmail.com and it will mask it into a hash code. As you can see the transformed sample, here it is the output. So we have discussed the second de-identification technique, that is masking through live demonstration.
So here, as we have seen how we can identify and de-identify your personal information or sensitive data, it's a time to explore various benefits of DLP API. So first one is, it helps you to reduce the risk of data breaches. The next benefit is to protect against insider threat. The next one is protects against ransomware attacks. The next benefit is prevents data theft. Here the next benefit is prevent unauthorized access of your documents or data. The next one is protect against phishing scams.
Now as we have discussed various benefits of DLP API, now it's time to discuss some of the features of DLP API. The first one is data management.
Whether your data is residing in the cloud or outside the cloud, you will be able to manage it efficiently. The next one here is visibility.
It helps gain visibility of data risk across your entire organization. The next one is data identification.
So with the help of identification, you will be able to reduce the data risk. The next one is masking and tokenization.
With the help of DLP API, you can leverage the functionalities of different de-identification techniques like masking and tokenization. Now let's discuss the last feature of DLP API, that is inspection and transformation.
So as you see, we were able to inspect the data, whether your data is in table format or your data is in paragraph format. We will be definitely able to inspect it and transform your data.
As we have already discussed what DLP API is, what are the features of DLP API, what are the benefits of DLP API, now let's explore various scenarios to see how powerful DLP API is.
So for the first example, we are taking a travel agency company who is helping their customer in their travel journey. In that case, they have facilitated a chatbot in their website because they know there are lots of users coming in and they were not able to manage them efficiently. So with the help of chatbot, the chatbot will continuously chat with users as well as it will be collecting the information from the user. So we are getting the chat history from the user, right? Now it's time to store the chat history. So they are using a powerful GCS bucket, that is Google Cloud Storage Bucket. You can store tons of data in a single file or single bucket using GCS bucket. But it's not safe, right? GCS itself will provide the encryption, but still, if they are using it for analytics purpose, they need to ensure the security. And for that purpose, they are using DLP API. So they will first scan through entire data, they will do the identification of the sensitive information, and then they will mask the sensitive information of the user. After this happens, the data will be loaded into BigQuery table. This BigQuery table will help them to analyze that data efficiently, because BigQuery is a cloud solution provided by GCP itself to analyze and transform lots of data together. But they are not just satisfied with analyzing the data. They want to see it further. And for that purpose, they are using Looker. So here, Looker is another powerful tool provided by GCP itself, which helps them to create dashboards and graphs, which helps them to visualize the data, what the user is saying them. Right? They won't be able to interact with their users continuously, but the user data will be telling a story about them. And with the help of Looker, they analyze it further, they visualize it further, and with help of that data, they will enhance the user experience of their site. So here we have seen that they have provided a chatbot, they have used GCS bucket, DLP, BigQuery, and then Looker. But never they tried to bridge their user data. They always try to play safely. They always become reliable and responsible about their user data. So here we have explored a solution where chatbot was not completely in GCP ecosystem. Now Shaily will discuss another use case which will be completely GCP ecosystem example.
As we asked. So, why to fear when GCP itself gives the solution? With the help of Dialogflow, you can achieve automated redaction of your sensitive data. So, there are three options available in Dialogflow itself. The first one is parameter redaction, the second one is settings API, and the third one is security settings API. So today we'll be discussing about security settings API. Also we'll have a look at the demo for the same. So in security settings API, as you can see, the Dialogflow makes a call to Cloud DLP. Now, in Cloud DLP as a backend, what actually it will work? It will first identify your sensitive data that we already discussed for the cloud storage bucket. The same thing will work over here as well. It will identify the email address or phone number or whatever, credit card number. It will identify that sensitive data. Once the sensitive data is being identified, the next step is to de-identify your sensitive data. Now the de-identification will work with the help of various techniques. Techniques as we already discussed, masking, replacement, redaction, and so on. So it will de-identify your data. Once your data gets redacted or masked, it will again send to Dialogflow for the same. So basically we have discussed two solutions. One was the hybrid one, wherein the chatbot was not made onto GCP, but still GCP offers a support of masking your sensitive data using DLP API. The second solution that we came up was the automated redaction of your sensitive data using Dialogflow API itself. Now, let's see the demonstration of it.
So as we have seen two different use cases, we will be giving a hands-on of the second use case. So let's see how we can do or perform the hands-on for this purpose. Here in the demonstration, we will be using the Cloud DLP and as well as the Dialogflow API that Shaily was talking about. So here, with the help of this solution, we were able to create a chatbot as well as we were able to protect your sensitive information. With this purpose, let's land on the GCP console Here we will go to So as we are going to use the Dialogflow API, we will first land over Dialogflow. And in the Dialogflow, we have kept that your time and our time is valuable. So with that purpose, we have already created a chatbot in prior, which we will be using for a demo purpose today, and that is demo devfest bot. Let's go to demo devfest bot now. Here we will first go to agent setting. In this we will land to security settings. In the security setting we will click on manage security settings. Here we have been landed on CCAI dashboard. With the help of CCAI setting, we will be able to provide the template to our chatbot. So here we are creating the setting. The name has been given Demo DevFest. The location we are selecting US Central 1. And please keep in mind, whatever location you are selecting here should be the same location which you have selected by making the identification template and de-identification template. Otherwise it will not work. Here we have kept the redaction scope itself, and the purge data type will be Dialogflow history. Here we can see that we need to provide inspect template as well as de-identification template. But we have already created the templates, right? So we will be going back to the DLP console, and then we will reuse the templates which we have already created. So let's head over to data loss prevention API back, and we will be using both the templates. And in this case as well, we will be first doing the masking or redaction of your email address and phone number only. So let's head over to DLP. Let's go to inspect. From here we will be copying the inspection template ID. Let's copy the URL. We will be using it for the further. Now we will go to de-identify. After going there, we will be copying the URL again. Now let's head over to Dialogflow and put the whatever URLs you have copied till now. So we have pasted inspection and de-identification templates over here. Retention days we are keeping as 365 only, and let's click on create. Now we can see that we have our security settings here. Now we will go back to the platform. In the platform itself, we will be changing the security setting. So we will not use the setting which we have in past, but now as we have created new security setting, we will try to use it further. So let's go to demo devfest. Let's go to agent settings back, and if you remember, we need to change from where we try to manage our security settings. So again, head over to security, change the security setting, and click on the save button. From here, we know that we have chatbot in place, we have templates in place. Now it's time for us to chat with the chatbot. So let's go and test whatever agent which we have created. So let's click on test agent. Here we can see and we can type whatever we want, but for the demonstration purpose we will be registering through the bot. And you can see it's welcoming us, and now I will provide my email address. It was not something that was sensitive, right? But the email has been redacted, the mobile number has been completely redacted. And now, we hope that you would have found this demo helpful and you will be able to redact such kind of personally identifiable information. There are lots of info types which we can be redacted, but here for the demo purpose, we have used email and phone number.
So as promised, we have got you covered. Protecting your chatbot from data breaches, how to use DLP API to mask the sensitive data.
Yeah, so we hope that you would have found this session helpful. If so, we would like to connect with you. Yeah.
If suppose I have data of international phone numbers, so formats are different.
Yeah.
Along with the SSN. So how your software will identify that this many digits are there or SSN number is different for each country. So how it will identify?
Yeah, so actually DLP itself provides such kind of identification that it will identify which kind of phone number it is. We have kept the threshold to possible. So whenever it's possible to identify the phone number, it will definitely do it. And if not, in such cases, we need to provide the custom inputs. And for that as well, we can create the custom info types and we will be then able to create the template. So it's not necessary that you find everything from the DLP itself. You can create your custom info types there and you can even use regex or something there and then you will be able to identify or de-identify. Yeah, please.
Is it possible to detect information from audio transcript using
Yeah, it's possible.
Yes, it's possible. Yeah, so there were some glitches and technical glitches as well. So sorry for that, and we hope that you would have enjoyed whatever information we tried to cover. Thank you.